the norm and ensure that no Bangsamoro will be left behind. Maraming salamat po sa tiwala at mabuhay po tayong lahat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rahib Kudo. Next in line to to convey his felicitations for our program, the message from the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Secretary Carlito G. Galvez Jr.
Alam mo, dapat, anong ginatawang lahat dito? Dapat record lang natin to.
Audio, please.
My ama, Secretary Wednesday. Let me acknowledge our distinguished guests, Secretary Delpin and Lorenzana, Secretary of National Defense, Secretary Wendell E. Abisado, Secretary of DBM, Secretary Leonor Briones, Department of Education, Secretary Sylvester Bello, Department of Labor and Employment, Secretary Ramon Lopez, Department of Trade Industry, our national agency partners, the BARM officials headed by Honorable Ahod Ebrahim Haj Murad, Chief Minister of BARM, my ama, Minister Mohager M. Iqbal, Minister of Basic Higher and Technical Education and Chairperson, and the IMALEP Implementing Panel Chair, Minister Melanio Ulama, Minister of Indigenous People, Attorney Ali Pangalian Balindong, Speaker and Member of BTA Parliament, Minister Abdul Rauf A. Makakwa, Sasami Gambar, the Executive Secretary of the Office of the Chief Minister, Sheikh Khalifa Nando Diwali of the Bangsamoro, other government officials, Undersecretary David B. Diciano, the Panel Chair, Government of the Philippines Implementing Panel, ASEC Wilben Mayor, the Secretariat of our IGRB, Lieutenant General Cirilito Subihana, the Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Corlito Binluan, Commander of West Mincom, other representatives and attendees from the national government, the BARM government, our partner NGOs and CSOs, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On behalf of the men and women of the Office of the Presidential Advisor of the Peace Process, I would like to congratulate the Bangsamoro government as you celebrate your second foundation anniversary. No one foresaw that your second year of running the affairs of the government would be this challenging. The COVID-19 pandemic pushed all us to our limits, putting our health and safety on the line. However, the manner in which the BARM government has courageously confronted this health crisis while decisively addressing issues of governance during this transition period is a lasting testament of your commitment, foresight, and determination to make the region a place where all Muslim, Christian, and indigenous peoples can live in peace, harmony, and prosperity. Rest assured that the Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process, together with our government agencies, local and international peace partners, will be here to support you all the way towards realizing the hopes, the dreams, and aspirations of the Bangsamoro people. Thank you for working hand in hand with the national government and believing that mutual trust, commitment, and cooperation will be the key to our success. Indeed, our collective vision of achieving a just and lasting peace in the BARM is within reach despite the great challenges ahead. Again, happy second anniversary to the BARM government. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you again, Mr. Secretary, the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. We are honored to have received your message and showed your support to the Bangsamoro government. Now, with us via Zoom is also one of the cabinet secretaries from the Department of the National Defense. It's none other than Secretary Delfin Lorenzana to deliver his message via Zoom. Sir?
Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Warm greetings to my brothers and sisters in Muslim Mindanao on the occasion of the BARM Second Foundation Day. I take special pride and happiness on your Foundation Day because I had the privilege and honor of working for the passage of the Bangsamoro Organic Law and in the plebiscite. When the plebiscite was finished, I rejoiced because finally peace and stability is at hand in our land. Today, the BARM slowly and surely marches forward with a determined gaze ahead. The President said, the BARM cannot fail because it is one of my campaign promises and my legacy. I know that every one of us from Muslim Mindanao feels the same. Knowing the problem, this would clearly define a workable and coherent strategy to address the threats. It is worthy to note that development initiatives under Executive Order number 70 are already in place, coupled with the formation of relevant ministries to handle the 12 lines of effort of our whole of nation approach to end armed conflict. More than these developments, I must also laud your decisive COVID-19 response and initiatives to keep the people of the BARM safe and to continuously provide social assistance in the midst of strict quarantine measures. More than ever, being the Cabinet Officer for Regional Development and Security for CORDS, rest assured that the BARM will always be my priority as we aspire to resolve the decades-long armed conflict in our region. Sadly, the decades-old conflict has prevented our progress in all aspects: social, education, economics, and infrastructure. We have been left behind by our neighbors. Now, we are poised to address these problems, and with the blessing of Allah, we will prevail. On behalf of the One Defense team, allow me to express my committed support to Chief Minister Ahod Ebrahim and to the rest of the BARM officials. Congratulations, BARM. May our continued coordination and vigorous collaboration lead us further to more successes ahead as one Filipino nation. Again, Happy BARM Foundation Day. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Lorenzana. Moving on, joining us live via Zoom is the Department of Budget and Management Secretary, Wendell E. Avisado.
Chief Minister Ahod Ibrahim Al-Haj, Executive Secretary Abdul Raif,
Abdul Rauf Makakwa, Minister Mogher Iqbal, Minister of Education and Chairperson of the MILF Implementing Panel and Co-Chair of the Intergovernmental Body, Mufti Abu Huraira Udasan, Grand Mufti of BARM, Sheikh Khalifa Nando, the Wali of the Bangsamoro, Attorney Ali Pangalian Balindong, Speaker of the PTA Parliament, Undersecretary David Diciano, the GPH Panel Chair, my fellow Cabinet Secretaries, Lieutenant General Subiana, Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Biluan, Commanding General of West Mincom, Major General Uy, Commanding General of the 6th ID, the other officers of the Armed Forces and the Philippine National Police, distinguished ministers and members of Parliament, local chief executives and the other local officials, at sa lahat po ng ating mga kapatid na dumalo at maging nung nakikipagkaisa sa pamamagitan ng virtual platform, isang mainit at maalab na pagbati ang aking pinapaabot sa inyo. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Isang maganda at mapagpalang umaga po sa mga kapatid natin sa Bangsamoro. Sa ngalan ng kagawaran ng budget at pamamahala, taus-pusong pagbati po ang aming pinapaabot sa inyo sa inyong pagdiriwang ng ika-2 taong anibersaryo ng pagkakakatag ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, better known as BARM. Our hearts are overjoyed knowing that our Mindanaoan brothers and sisters are now one and in peace and solidarity. Although the previous year has been quite a challenge for all of us because of the COVID-19 pandemic, this year is to be hopeful and to be prayerful that we will recuperate and recover from all of these setbacks. Through transparency and good governance, we shall be able to serve our constituents more efficiently and effectively and with confidence as we enter into the post-pandemic stage. I believe that when we offer integrity, partnered with decent and honest work to the people we are serving, they will reciprocate with trust and confidence. Naway tayo pong lahat ay patuloy na maglingkod sa ating mga nasasakupan ng walang pag-aalinlangan sa ating puso at lagi tayong handang harapin at lagpasan ang lahat ng mga pagsubok na ating kakaharapin sa ating buhay. Makakaasa po kayo na kami sa kagawaran ng budget at pamamahala ay mananatiling isa sa inyong pinakamalapit at pinakamalakas na katuwang para sa patuloy na kaunlaran at tagumpay ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Nakikiisa din po ang pamahalaan sa layunin ng ating mga kapatid na maitaguyod ng mas mabisa at matagalan ang kapayapaan at pagkakaisa sa lahat tungo sa maunlad, masagana at sustainabling pamumuhay ng bawat isa. Kung nasaan man ngayon ang kinatatayuan ng BARM, ito ay dahil sa ang lahat ay nagsisikap na lumago ang kalidad ng pamumuhay sa pamamagitan ng mga proyektong kinakailangan ng ating mga mamamayan. Marami na pong pinuno ang sumubok na pag-isahin ang pagkahati-hati ng ating mga kapatid sa Mindanao. Ngunit sa administrasyon lamang ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte na nagkaroon ng tunay na pagkakaisa ang Mindanao. Kung wala po si Pangulong Duterte, malamang patuloy pa ang bangayan, awayan at digmaan hanggang ngayon. Ito rin po ay naging posible dahil meron po tayong mahusay at epektibong pamumuno at gabay ng ating punong ministro, kagalang-galang Chief Minister Ahod Ibrahim Al-Haj. Lahat ng mga kasapi ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region at lahat ng ating mga kapatid na Muslim at mga katutubo na sumuporta at sumang-ayon sa pagbabago ng pamamahala sa pulo ng Mindanao, partikular sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Today is a celebration of victory for everybody in BARM who fought and continue to fight for self-determination and at the same time securing the blessings of democracy. We are one with you and we are in solidarity with you in your continuing quest for moral governance and in building strong foundations for a better Bangsamoro. Sa muli, maligayang pagdiriwang ng inyong ikalawang anibersaryo ng pagkakatatag ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay and Allah bless us all.
A heartwarming message from our Secretary Wendell Avisado. In spite of the health protocols and travel restrictions that we have, we are honored that some of the dignitaries and officials have joined us in celebrating the Bangsamoro Foundation Day online, and also one of them is going to deliver, another official is going to deliver his message for us, none other than the first district representative of Maguindanao, Dato Rooney Sinsuat. Sir?
Thank you, mga kagalang-galang na tagapagpakilala. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My respect and courtesy to the Interim Chief Minister Ahod B. Ebrahim, to the members of the House of Representatives, the members of the Parliament, members of the Cabinet, mayors, distinguished guests, fellow government workers, good morning, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. By the way, I'd like also to greet our men in uniform, General Asobehana, the Commanding General of 6th ID, General Uy, and General, of course, General Binluan. Again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As we celebrate the first Bangsamoro founding anniversary, let me convey warm greetings and congratulations to all my fellow government workers in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, whose hard work, dedication, and commitment brought us to where we are now. This year's anniversary celebration with the theme Moral Governance, Building Strong Foundations for Better Bangsamoro, will definitely be a memorable occasion, albeit lacking of the annual commemorative events we conduct in the past. The emergence of a global pandemic period opened doors for re-evaluation and reconstruction of certain tasks and services delivered by the Bangsamoro government, adapting to the new normal with primary consideration for the public's convenience while ensuring both their and our personal safety and well-being. No less than Minister Muakkar Iqbal of Ministry of Basic Higher and Technical Education, BARM and Chairman, MILF Peace Panel concisely put it. BARM's principle of moral governance is inspired by the teachings on Islamic leadership and shall guide all actions of the Bangsamoro government. In a nutshell, he added, this principle is about employing ethical values in governance expected of every leader or official who must effectively and efficiently implement lawful programs for people's general welfare. Moreover, commitment to moral governance means shunning all forms of graft and corruption. Corruption in any form is unacceptable to BARM. It undermines good governance by subverting formal and legal processes. It erodes the institutional capacity of government to deliver services if lawful procedures are violated. And public officers are bought and sold. It betrays the trust and confidence of the Bangsamoro people when precious resources are siphoned off. If the BARM fails to uphold moral governance and tolerate corrupt practices in this region, we would have wasted 50 years of our struggle for peace, justice, and the right to self-determination. Moral governance as a new framework of government conveys a strong and appealing message that BARM, under the leadership of the MILF, will run ethical, moral, and honest government. Ordinary people in the community can readily comprehend its meaning based on their own Islamic values and teachings of what is right and wrong. The oath taking before the Holy Quran on moral governance strengthened the commitment of each and every member of the BTA, including local chief executives, to fight against corruption and clean government. While it is too early to measure the success of moral governance, it has already succeeded in instilling a zero tolerance against corruption and setting the bar higher for public service in the new political entity. In closing, I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude to everyone for all the efforts each one of you has placed in realizing the accomplishments you have achieved and obstacles you have passed. BARM would not have been possible if not for your efforts, aspirations, and determinations. May this occasion be instrumental in reigniting everyone's passion and dedication in the conduct of our respective responsibilities to our fellow Bangsamoro people and to the government. Shukran and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
First District Representative Datu Rooney Sinswat. Now, for our officials and dignitaries, despite not being physically present here with us nor join us via Zoom platform, they did not forget to show their love and support for our Foundation Day. So we ask you to turn over your attention on the big screen again for the message of Philippine Senator Mary Grace Natividad Sonora Po Yamanzares, or we all know her as Senator Grace Po.
Assalamualaikum. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Isa pong karangalan ang maimbitahan sa inyong ikalawang anibersaryo. Bangsamoro Foundation Day is celebrated in recognition of the dreams and aspirations of the Bangsamoro people to exercise their right to self-determination. It is a reminder to all of us that our goal must be achieved of a truly autonomous and prosperous region. Makakamit ito kung sisiguraduhin natin na magkakaroon ang bawat isa ng disenteng trabaho. Pangalawa, na mabigyan ang ating Bangsamoro youth ng dekalidad na edukasyon. At pangatlo, mabigyan ng kakayanan ang bawat isa na makakuha ng serbisyong pangkalusugan, lalong-lalo na ngayon sa panahon ng pandemya. I have high hopes that through the moral governance, steadfast service, and courageous leadership of Chief Minister Haj Murad Ebrahim, our BARM officials and staff, and our local government leaders, this region will be able to achieve genuine development and a just and enduring peace. Katulad ng aking tatay na si FPJ, my heart is with you always. Maraming salamat po.
Again, another video message from also one of the senators we have, none other than Juan Miguel Migs Zubiri.
Assalamualaikum to my fellow Mindanaoans. I am one with our Bangsamoro brothers and sisters in celebrating the Bangsamoro Foundation Day. To my dear friend, the BARM Chief Minister Murad Ebrahim, and to all the officials and members of the Bangsamoro government, I give you my deepest thanks and congratulations for ably handling this transitional period despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. When we fought for the passage of the Bangsamoro Organic Law, we could not have foreseen that the Bangsamoro's transitional years would be beset by a global pandemic. But despite this, or perhaps because of this, the BARM has had a chance to strengthen its good governance. In these trying times, the BARM's governance has emerged as an ideal form of leadership, rooted in transparency, equity, and peace. The work towards good governance is a major undertaking, but one that will be well worth the effort, because successful governance will ensure that Bangsamoro will flourish in the future and never know nothing or anything but peace and progress. Again, my warmest congratulations. As ever, you can trust that I will remain your ally in working towards the good of the Bangsamoro people. Again, maraming salamat po, and mabuhay ang Bangsamoro.
Tino.
Good day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ito po si Senator Francis Tolentino. I'd like to greet the BARM leadership, headed by Chairman Murad, on the occasion of your anniversary. I look forward to more accomplishments coming from the BARM Authority. As I work with you as Chairman of the Senate Committee on Local Government, I am very happy that the BARM leadership, the BARM structure in particular, would be of help not only in the BARM area but for the entire country. Again, mabuhay po kayo. Maraming salamat and congratulations. I will always be of assistance to the BARM, Chairman Murad, and your group. Assalamualaikum. Maraming salamat po.
Hearing these messages from our senators is very motivation is a motivation on our part. And another senator who will deliver or who will convey his message for our Bangsamoro Foundation Day is none other than Senator Joel Villanueva.
Assalamualaikum Bangsamoro at maligayang araw po ng pagkakatatag. Nakikiisa po ang inyong empleyado dito sa Senado, Senator Joel Villanueva, sa pagdiriwang ng Bangsamoro Foundation Day. Isa po tayo sa nagsulong ng Republic Act number 11054 o ang Bangsamoro Organic Law na nagbigay daan sa pagkakatatag ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Dahil naniniwala po tayong ito ang magbibigay katuparan sa hinahangad na kapayapaan at kaunlaran ng ating mga kapatid na Muslim at mga katutubong Bangsamoro sa Mindanao. Despite the challenges, the past 2 years proved how the Bangsamoro can make lasting change happen through the legislation and enactment of various laws and implementation of effective policies which help realize your mandate. The decommissioning of thousands of fighters since the establishment of Bangsamoro is an achievement that significantly contributes to achieving peace. Your effort towards coalition building helps strengthen the regional government and it worked towards democratic governance. We commend the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, the members of your cabinet, and your new bureaucracy for demonstrating unity through moral governance. Indeed, moral governance can bring renewed aspirations to the more than 4 million people in the region. Help navigate a future based on your culture and tradition and to achieve genuine autonomy that encapsulates the history of the Bangsamoro people. Nakikiisa po tayong muli sa inyong paniniwala na ang tunay na saligan ng kaunlaran ng Bangsamoro ay ang tapat at matuwid na pamamahala. Bilang hepe po o chairman ng Senate Committee on Labor and Senate Committee on Higher Technical and Vocational Education, isa pong malaking karangalan para sa inyong lingkod ang maging bahagi ng pag-ukit ng kasaysayan ng mga Bangsamoro at maging katuwang po ninyo sa paghahatid ng trabaho at edukasyon sa ating mga kababayan sa inyong rehiyon sa Mindanao. Inshallah, dalangin ko po na magpatuloy ang makatarungang pagbabago at reforma sa Bangsamoro. Maraming salamat at mabuhay po kayo.
Nueva. And last but definitely not the least, video message from Senator Christopher Bongo.
Assalamualaikum. Magandang araw sa lahat ng kapatid kong mga Muslim sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Binabati ko rin po kayo ng isang maligayang anibersaryo ng pagkakatatag ng BARM. Naway patuloy tayong magkaisa para tuloy-tuloy rin ang ating pag-unlad at manatili ang kapayapaan sa buong Bangsamoro. Ako po nagagalak na naimbitahan sa isa ninyong napaka-importanting selebrasyon. Malaki ang papel na ginagampanan ng Bangsamoro sa patuloy na pag-usbong hindi lang ng Mindanao, kundi maging ng buong bansa tungo sa kaunlaran. Ito ay dahil kapag nanatili ang kapayapaan at patuloy ang ating pagkakaisa at pagtutulungan, hindi malayong makakamit natin ang ating mga minimithing layunin para sa bawat isa. Rest assured that your government is working very hard to ensure your welfare and to fight the current problems we are facing today, most especially COVID-19. Kaya patuloy lang po sana tayong magkaisa at magbayanihan para masugpo natin ang mga pagsubok na ating kinakaharap. Alam kong isang extraordinaryong selebrasyon po ang mayroon tayo ngayon, ngunit huwag nating kalimutan na maging maingat pa rin. Magsuot ng mask at face shield, maghugas po ng kamay, at mag-social distancing. Nais ko na pagkatapos ng pandemyang ito ay makita at makumusta kayo ng personal. At lagi ninyong tandaan na patuloy kaming magsiserbisyo ni Pangulong Duterte sa inyo. Muli, isang maligayang Bangsamoro Foundation Day po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Messages for the Bangsamoro Foundation Day. It is truly such an honor to be hearing from thought leaders across the country wish the Bangsamoro government a meaningful and solemn celebration of this Foundation Day, or in the words of our ES, second birth anniversary. And now we have finally arrived to the main highlight of our program, the Chief Minister's report to the Bangsamoro.
In 2015, the Philippines was praised for its gender-inclusive peace process, making inclusivity as a mantra. It made headlines worldwide because finally peace was brokered in a historic deal. And I'm talking about the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro, which led to the creation of the Bangsamoro government. Today, we are beyond grateful that one of the reasons why the Bangsamoro identity has been restored was because of the pursuits of a man who helped institute reforms, ensure lasting peace and prosperity in the Moro homeland through the Bangsamoro government's establishment.
I know many of you know who this man is, and it's a cliche to say this, but this man definitely needs no introduction. So to deliver his report to the Bangsamoro, please turn your attention to our big screen and help me welcome Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao Chief Minister and the concurrent Moro Islamic Liberation Front Chairman, Ahod Haj Murad Balawag Ebrahim.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. To the Wali of the Bangsamoro, Sheikh Khalifanando, esteemed members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, colleagues in the Bangsamoro Regional Cabinet, fellow workers and stakeholders for peace and development, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Bangsamoro. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My warmest greetings of peace to all of you. 2 years ago, the Bangsamoro people decided to ratify a legislation that will ultimately change the direction of their future and honor our struggle towards self-determination. January 21 will always be remembered as the date of our commitment to pursue lasting peace and development in our homeland. It is therefore proper to recognize this date as the official Bangsamoro Foundation Day to commemorate our humble victories as a people, remember those who sacrificed for our cause, and look forward to a future that we can proudly call as ours. To set the course right, the BTA saw our moral oath inside this very hall as a symbol of our commitment to redefine the future. We began building the foundation of moral governance for a better Bangsamoro. I'm honored to share with you today the state of the transition period, the wins and the challenges, and the things that await us in the future, inshallah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Chief Minister's report to the Bangsamoro. Article 16 of Republic Act 11054 provides our functions and priorities in the PTA during the transition period. This can be construed as the minimum expected accomplishment of the interim government. The first deliverable, creating the Bangsamoro Transition Plan, is the guiding document that lights our path all throughout the year. Approved on June 17, 2019, we are proud that the transition plan reflects our shared direction as a new government. A specific portion of that plan is centered in crafting priority codes that will serve as the foundation of the Bangsamoro government. I know some of our constituents have been patiently waiting for the enactment of these key legislations, but just like the Bangsamoro Organic Law, we must acknowledge that we cannot submit half-baked bills for the sake of compliance. The BTA is mandated to make sure that these legislations are responsive, practical, and inclusive of all sectors relative to the respective intents of the various codes. The administrative code, which was approved last October 28, 2020, defines the very structure, the relationships, and systems of our bureaucracy. Each passage signals the regional government's preparedness to cater the services of its people based on the various mandates given to the different ministries, offices, and local agencies. It is also worth noting that the approval of the Bangsamoro Administrative Code poses our uniqueness as a region and as a government standing proud as a parliamentary bureaucracy inside a unitary state. Proud, unique, and responsive. These are the simple words we can use to describe our approved regional structure. The other priority codes are not that far from its passage as well. To my dear colleagues in the BTA, I encourage you that we boast the same passion and energy to the rest of the priority codes, just like what we did during the passage of the Bangsamoro Administrative Code. As of right now, both the civil service, local governance, and education codes are already undergoing their respective Parliament Committee deliberations, considering various expertise all over the region and the country. The electoral and revenue codes are on its final stage of deliberation at the cabinet level. Our work in the BTA Parliament is not hampered nor distracted, but rather taking the ample time to craft legislation that are truly needed by the Bangsamoro in this generation and those who will follow. In addition, we made sure that the government services are not affected during the transition period while we gradually phase out the affected employees of the previous ARMM along with their respective separation pay and benefits. A significant number of them were retained and extended, while some were even included in initial batch of newly hired personnel. During the said process, we take pride in introducing the Bangsamoro Job Portal, which enables any qualified individual to apply for positions they see fit to their credentials. Unprecedented and the first of its kind, the Bangsamoro Job Portal has opened opportunities never been seen before, and now we are halfway through completion of filing up the 4,000 plus permanent positions posted in the portal, which received an astounding number of applicants, around 330,000 applications. Apart from fulfilling the mandate enumerated in Article 6 RA 11054, the government of the day has implemented key programs, institutional and behavioral reforms aligned with the moral governance agenda and the Bangsamoro Development Plan. As an example, we have strengthened revenue collection with Mainris 306 million pesos collection in 2019, which is 101 million pesos more compared to the highest annual remittance of ARMM. We also saw an increase in the number of Seal of Good Local Governance awardees in the region, garnering a total of 28 SGLG awardees for 2019, which is 5 more than what the previous ARMM achieved. Furthermore, the 28 SGLG awardees made the BARM as the #1 region in Mindanao and 5th in the entire country. The level of transparency in our infrastructure work has also been manifested with the expanded Bangsamoro Advanced Road Mapping and Management, or e-BARM system, an online repository of MPW BARM projects using geotag photos for data validation. The core goals of the e-BARM system are transparency and efficiency in project monitoring. The significant improvement in terms of peace and security in the Bangsamoro have boosted the confidence of investors and enhanced other economic drivers in the region. The Regional Board of Investment, RBOI BARM, has registered an amount of 4.153 billion pesos worth of investments, wherein they also recorded 2,724 employments in 2019. The RBOI exceeded its target of generating 2.3 billion pesos worth of investment projects by 180%. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region also ranked second among the regions in Mindanao in terms of gross regional domestic product, GRDP, and gross regional domestic expenditure, GRDE, growth rate in 2019. Furthermore, we rank 7th among the 17 regions in the country after posting 5.9% growth rate in our GRDP. My fellow Bangsamoro, while it is important to see these developments on figure, we also acknowledge that there are efforts that should go directly to the ground. These are what we like to call as ramdam ng tao programs, because the government can only be felt when its initiatives are translated to tangible outputs that they can feel immediately. Project Tabang, or the Tulong Alay sa Bangsamorong Nangangailangan, was conceptualized and initiated in order to bring government services closer to the people. Through the collective effort of the various ministries and offices, BARM has successfully conducted the Project Tabang throughout the region. Pursuant to the 12-point priority agenda of the government of the day, particularly the emphasis on health, the Office of the or AMBAG to provide medical assistance to indigent and poor Bangsamoro patients. As of December 2020, the AMBAG has provided at least 9,219 patients through its 11 partner hospitals. AMBAG seeks to expand its coverage by partnering additional hospitals within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and beyond to provide assistance to Bangsamoro outside the core territories. We also recently launched the Marawi Rehabilitation Program worth 500 million pesos to supplement the current efforts of the national government through the task force Bangun Marawi. The project steering committee has approved initial programs that would hopefully address some of the needs of our brothers and sisters in Marawi. Pursuant to the Bangsamoro Organic Law, we are proud to officially welcome the 63 barangays in North Cotabato and Cotabato City to the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. The official turnover of other national departments to the pertinent ministries in the BARM are being facilitated, and we would like to commend the Intergovernmental Relations Body, co-chaired by Minister Muhajir Iqbal and Department of Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez, in operationalizing these key provisions of the BOL. Notice of Cash Allowance NCA was issued last February 12, 2020 for the release of internal revenue allotment of 11 existing municipalities that previously do not receive ERA, and as we speak, no BARM local government unit functions without ERA, promising the development at the heartland of the Bangsamoro. All things seemed on track until one pandemic changed the course of the world. But just like the persistence of our communities, we faced the challenge and made sure that the Bangsamoro is protected from the threats carried by the coronavirus. In support to our Bangsamoro health warriors, we made sure that proper augmentation of medical equipment and supplies was made. That hazard pay for health workers are rightfully given. Medical assistance for COVID-19 patients through Ayudang Medikal mula sa Bangsamoro Government or AMBAG are available. In addition, we made sure that the COVID-19 isolation and treatment facilities were established in all 5 provinces in the region, along with proper implementation of national pandemic response and working closely together with local government units and major hospitals all over the region. None of us saw this coming. Of all the things we prepared for during the peace process, a pandemic is not one of them. But the Almighty Allah is with us, and Alhamdulillah, the BARM is making it through this deadly pandemic. As we speak, we remain to be the region with the lowest number of positive and active cases. We continue to build isolation centers, support our frontliners, provide assistance to those in need, and execute plans and protocols to contain the spread of the virus. We intend to keep it that way until a proper vaccination program is installed in the region and in the country. We have initially allocated 500 million pesos for the procurement of COVID-19 vaccine. Preliminary engagements with the companies have already started, and we will work hard to get the needed vaccine as soon as possible. However, our work is not ours alone, but with partners that were there right from the start of the peace process, organizations that continue to believe in the Bangsamoro cause and the hope of lasting peace in Mindanao, inshallah. Hence, we thank our various private partners who work with us by providing capacity building and other strategic programs. Alhamdulillah, upon our assumption in 2019, we inherited the budget left by the previous ARMM. Taking into consideration the complexities in the transition period and the fact that this has already been programmed, we were not able to implement new programs aligned with our vision for the Bangsamoro. Year 2020 was the first year where we operated under the Black Grant. The implementation of major programs and plans of the various ministries and offices, however, were greatly affected by the pandemic as we redirected our priorities in mitigating the spread of the virus and addressing the needs of our people. We enter 2021 still very mindful of the threats of the virus, but with health protocols in place and a vaccine program coming soon, we can and we must do more this year. As such, I direct all ministries and other pertinent offices to go all out in implementing major programs. On the area of education, the government of the day has launched multiple scholarship programs that give opportunities for students who deserve our support in all academic levels. We have also hired more than 1,400 licensed teachers throughout the region in the hopes of providing a better education. This will be complemented with various infrastructure projects and other pertinent programs for our teaching and non-teaching personnel, schools, and of course, our students. The Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education shall continue to implement major reforms and enforce policies, including the difficult and sensitive ones. Local government units shall have equitable share in the various infrastructure projects loaded in the Ministry of Public Works. This shall be reinforced by strict monitoring and evaluation to ensure completion of these projects are at par with the technical specifications and programs of works. Local government units shall have equitable share in the various infrastructure projects lodged in the Ministry of Public Works. This shall be reinforced by strict monitoring and evaluation to ensure completion of these projects are at par with the technical specifications and programs of works. We shall continue to prioritize programs that have direct impact to the everyday lives of our people. Programs and activities in the Ministry of Social Services and Development, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform, and other special programs from the various ministries and offices shall be made accessible to the people. To my fellow Bangsamoro, the establishment of the autonomous government is not an end, but a mere continuation of our struggle. It is important to constantly remind ourselves that what we achieved so far is founded on the blood, sweat, and tears of our brethren, our mujahideen, as well as the people and communities who went through so much pain and suffering for the sake of our struggle. Giving honor and justice to these sacrifices are precisely the main considerations in the normalization process of the peace agreement. While we see that many of the agreed deliverables are not yet met in this critical track of the peace process, we also see that we can do our share in giving such honor and justice in the political track by building a government truly worthy of the name Bangsamoro. 2 years ago, we began crafting the next chapter of the Bangsamoro. But the story is not yet over, and we still have more to do. With the challenges brought by the pandemic, along with the massive changes in the bureaucracy, time is really of the essence. The Bangsamoro transition period is a crucial time, and we cannot afford to lose this opportunity for anything less than what we have envisioned in the Bangsamoro Organic Law. For some, it may only mean as a time frame. However, in peace building perspective, and for us who have struggled for decades, it is probably the most important phase of the peace process that should never be taken for granted. It's time to make the Bangsamoro the destination to be, the face of renewed bureaucracy, and the region that we can truly call our own. The Bangsamoro Foundation Day is a reminder that we cannot do this alone. We should therefore work hand in hand to allow the fulfillment of significant points in the organic law with consideration to what we have learned so far as the interim government. As the successful peace process would teach us, the journey to peace is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Let us continue to thrust forward for the sake of the Bangsamoro. We must move together in making our shared dreams and aspiration a reality, inshallah. Thank you very much, and wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was our Chief Minister's tribute to the Bangsamoro. And Alhamdulillah, that concludes as well our celebration for our Bangsamoro Foundation Day. And the next part will be the photo ops.
All right. So for the photo opportunity, we will be doing it by batches to observe social and physical distancing. Now, this will be our sequence for the photo ops. We will first have members of the parliament, representatives of the MILF, representatives of the MNLF, ministries, LGUs, and area coordinators of the 63 barangays. And for those we have not mentioned, you will be the partners and stakeholders. So for now, we will be having the members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament. So may we invite you on stage for our photo ops. For our BDA members, you can also occupy the upper stage for us to observe the physical and social distancing. Thank you very much to the members of the parliament. Next in line, may we request the representatives from the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. All right, may we request again our participants to please observe social distancing. I mean, social distance with your fellow participants.
Once again, a reminder, bakit ano nangyari? Once again, a reminder, please observe social distancing.
Mic test.
Vision. MOSD Barm, as the leader in the advancement of science and in the generation and utilization of technologies for greater economic efficiency, social equity, and environmental integrity of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Mission: to effectively and efficiently respond to the social, economic, and ecological challenges of BARM, MOSD shall provide direction for science and technology development, implement timely and relevant science and technology programs, and provide quality science and technological services.
It's amended.